Hey everyone, in today's video we're going to cover 10 different facts about the different types of Stormtrooper armor. Let's start with number 1, Stormtrooper Ranks. With their all-white armor and standardized helmets, Stormtroopers somehow come across even more indistinguishable than the clones they replaced. However, given a closer examination, some differences do appear, in particular with the pauldrons they wore. Color-coded and worn over their left shoulder, the pauldrons showed their various ranks. Black meant the trooper was newly enlisted, white was for sergeants, orange and red were for their commanders. Though there have been Imperial officers, such as Grand Admiral Thrawn, who customized the symbols for his troopers' pauldrons. In Thrawn's case, he had his stormtroopers wear a chimera on their pauldrons in honor of his flagship's name. Number 2, the Sandtroopers. Stormtrooper armor was at times also specialized for specific environmental or combat situations. For instance, on desert planets like Tatooine or Jakku, the Empire would send their Sandtroopers. The Sandtroopers' armor came with sand filters and internal cooling fans, so while their opponents would have to contend with being cooked by the planet's sun, or suns, the trooper could stay comfortable and focus their attention fully on completing their objectives. Number 3, not so easy to kill. The Imperial Stormtroopers have somewhat of a mixed reputation, depending on who you ask. The running joke, which even made it into the season finale of The Mandalorian, is that they are terrible shots, unable to even hit a stationary target at close range. Another gut punch to their name is that they are extremely easy to kill, as it usually just takes a single shot to finish one of them off. So, therefore, it might be a surprise to know that their armor was specifically designed to dissipate blaster fire. That's right. Their white plasteel uniforms were engineered specifically to be able to handle a blaster shot and spread its energy throughout their armor, lessening its impact. The idea being that a stormtrooper could get hit and perhaps be momentarily out of commission, but eventually they could get back up. This was seen in the animated series Star Wars Rebels. Though we don't see any of the troopers get up after being hit in the movies, who knows, maybe some of them do. Off screen, perhaps. Probably not, but hey. Number 4. The Shock Troopers. The best of the best become elite Shock Troopers. Unlike the standard Stormtroopers, these warriors' armor had bright red markings and their gear was also superior to your typical grunt Stormtrooper. While the regular troops were often used as cannon fodder, the Shock Troopers were deployed to hold the lines and make on-the-fly battle decisions. And with their heavy blaster rifles and rocket launchers, they make short work of the Empire's enemies. Number 5. The Snow Troopers. Their slitted eye-hole helmets gave the cold assault stormtroopers or snow troopers a distinguished and ominous veneer that made them immediately recognizable. For cold and harsh climates like Hoth, the Empire would send in their snow troopers, who were specifically equipped to survive in such extreme freezing conditions. In addition, the heating units they carried on their backs were an extra safety measure, as they also had functioned as a power source should any of the snow troopers get lost or separated from their squad and find themselves trapped in a snowy drift with no rescue in sight. Number 6. The Flametroopers. Because of how effective Flametroopers were in the Clone Wars, the Empire and then later still, the First Order, decided to keep them around. The soldiers would be sent in to flush out or set afire enemies of the Empire or the First Order with the deadly bursts of their flamethrowers. For backup, the Flametroopers were accompanied by a contingent of quicker-moving standard units of Stormtroopers, as the equipment the Flametroopers carried was very cumbersome and thus made their movements sluggish. Number 7. Their enhanced vision. Despite Luke Skywalker's issue with seeing out of a Stormtrooper helmet in A New Hope, which was actually him recording that line when he thought the cameras weren't rolling anymore, or so they say, they were actually designed to enhance the vision of their users. The earlier models naturally had more basic and streamlined functions like night vision, infrared, and a standard heads-up display. The later models just added on those initial features, allowing for greater precision for targeting and even better enhanced vision. However, had Luke used one of the newer helmets, he would still have had the same issues. The helmet's functions can only be accessed by the individual Stormtrooper they are assigned to. But regardless, with these technological augmentations, Stormtroopers usually have better vision than their enemies. Number 8. the Jump Troopers. Taking a page from Boba Fett, Jump Troopers were a specialized type of Stormtroopers equipped with jetpacks on their backs, which they could use to get a better vantage point against their targets from the air. Highly mobile and vital to any pincer maneuver, where in conjunction with regular ground troops, the Jump Troopers would catch their opponents off balance by flying behind their lines and assaulting them from the air, while the regular troopers charged with a direct assault, crushing their enemies. Because of these specialized stormtroopers, the rebel forces always had to look behind, just to make sure the Empire didn't have any surprises in the air waiting for them. Number 9. The Scout Troopers. Now, it is true that the Empire experienced their deadliest blow from a bunch of excitable teddy bears with bows and arrows, but despite that humiliating defeat, the Scout Troopers were perhaps one of the most dangerous stormtroopers that the Empire had at their disposal. They wore light armor, and they needed to be agile and quick. Sent in to recon hostile areas, the Scout Troopers, along with their sidearm, would bring their sniper rifles, making them not just expert trackers, but also highly skilled assassins that could take out a target from a great distance without ever being spotted. And finally, number 10. Death Troopers. The most intimidating looking of all the Stormtroopers. The black-clad Death Troopers are part of the Imperial intelligence, so they are not used on the front lines, but rather are sent on espionage missions for the Empire. In addition, they were also utilized as elite bodyguards for Imperial officers, such as Director Orson Krennic or Grand Moff Tarkin, and we even see him to the aid of Grand Admiral Thrawn and Vader in the canon comics. An example of them from Rebels can be seen in this excerpt here from StarWars.com. When Grand Admiral Thrawn closed in on Agent Kallus, a secret rebel informant, he called on a squad of Death Troopers to accompany him. While Thrawn handled Kallus himself, the towering Death Troopers kept the traitor under control following the confrontation. During the later attack on Atollon, Thrawn's Death Troopers were on the front lines in the invasion of the rebel base. So we can even see that if they're not doing any action for any recon missions or any sort of Imperial duty, them just being there keeps things in order and in line, which is a power Vader had all the time. Experts in stealth and a vast variety of weaponry, whatever was required to complete their objective, whether that be heavy weapons, marksman weapons, or even just direct hand-to-hand combat, the Death Trooper could handle it all. And did you know they were exceptionally tall as well? Some of them even came close to Vader's height. Hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did. I always found the different types of Stormtrooper armor really interesting, and the fact that they're really dogged on in the films and the shows, but they're actually built to be quite an elite machine, even the regular grunt Stormtroopers, as we can even see with their helmets and visors and how they're all augmented. Catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Until then, remember, the Force will be with you, always.